Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamey Daddy channel. Today we're going to be having a small discussion talking about a potential level 50. And in the past I made a video actually about this. I talked about level 50 in the Division 2. If you want to see that video, you can look through my archives. I may link one for you guys here in post production just so that you can see if my, how my opinions have basically changed, or, in light of everything new, what you are thinking right now about all of this. Now I know based on my thumbnail is a simple answer for most of you. Some may not, some maybe, engage in anything that, lifts you up more than level 50. Maybe if it's actually packaged right, it may be more attractive. But I think after all is said and done, what does a level 50, or if a level 50 comes to the Division 2 for year 3, under what circumstances would you as an agent be willing to engage in it? And I think that question is a very important one because, if you think about all of this, the development team, right before they actually pushed us into year 2, there were a few things that were in place. A lot of people had said, it seemed like the game was over. They added the Coney Island missions. Remember those 2 missions that were added? They were done for a narrative aspect of the game. One thing that the Division 2 has tried its best to do is it's tried its best to represent its narrative in the best possible light. If you think about it, I mean, they've done everything and have given, the biggest, and if I say the biggest fanfare for everything that they've actually added to the narrative. And I think this is the main reason why a lot of, fans and agents were very disappointed about the whole Fallout, mission where there was nothing at the end of it. In fact, I've been watching, Noob Gaming Network, who's actually someone in the community that does a lot of the Division narrative style content. And he said, it's not going to be a surprise to him if, the cutscene at the end was chopped away because they were wanting to expand the story. And after last minute, maybe discussions or last minute decision making, they were most likely given the green light to go ahead and add more content to the game. And there are many things that can be done with this year 3. I mean, a level 50, to be very honest, is just one possibility. If you guys remember, if you guys have been following the game, hardcore mode is still basically in beta. I mean, there really isn't much that's been done, with this mode. I mean, if you think about it, when the developers were talking about Warlords of New York, even before they released Warlords of New York, they said, that hardcore mode was something that a small core team was passionate about and had been working on and wanted to deploy to the game. And so they said it didn't take away from any development time, nor did it take any resources. And so I guess that's something that, we can probably say, okay, maybe they wanted to go ahead and just do it, So what if they took hardcore mode out of beta and actually added some new features to it? Some of the features, like I've actually mentioned in my former videos where I've said, hardcore mode probably can bring a different, dimension to the whole Division map as a whole, where you're now playing, keepers, you're playing this weird game of chess where enemy NPCs are constantly running over not only control points, but now running over, your checkpoints, your safe houses. And you now have to basically do whatever it is that you can to be able to go back and take them. And then they can add other things from there and expand upon it, and then remove it from the beta mode and deploy it into a full-fledged game mode as an addition. I'm not saying that the whole of year 3 needs to be hardcore. That will be absolutely weird unless it's filled with a whole bunch of really cool stuff within it. And so when you come down to thinking about it, what could the year 3 look like? I think it could look like, adding a huge narrative piece, answering a lot of the questions. I think it could look like a situation where we most likely are going to be, working towards farming our gear once again. Maybe exotics can get a fast track, unlike, the way we had to wait for the Eagle Bear at level 40. That was a little weird. Maybe they can fast track all your exotics where it's like, oh, your crafting station on all your exotics right now, you can go and craft them all to level 50. Or maybe you do some tasks and you're able to get them all done, to level 50. That would be a very good way to soften the blow. Or maybe it doesn't need that to happen. Maybe we need to stay at level 40 and the developers, will come up with whatever it is that will keep the game running, say like Resistance was done in the Division 1, and that's something that players can engage in as the game starts to wind down. Because if you think about it, with everything that's going on right now, it doesn't seem like many people understand or know exactly what is going on behind the scenes. And the truth is, the development team have been really vague. I mean, you can't really blame the development team. I usually say this, but there's a management behind all of this stuff that's pulling a lot of the strings. And so they have to basically follow the mandate of the corporation. And I've said this in many videos, but it seemed like no one necessarily, wanted to get it until this, one of the big executives in Ubisoft himself, in speaking with investors, basically let the cat out of the bag. This is something that I'm certain was under wraps for a very long time. And we didn't even know when or where or how we were going to be getting any more content. But I think perhaps there was a push within the company, within Massive, to be able to say, okay, you guys going to be able to handle all of these? And they were able to say yes. Because if you think about a lot of our endgame content, a lot of it was actually developed by studios outside of Massive. Iron Horse was developed by Ubisoft and Annecy. They did Operation Iron Horse, which was a whole raid. Your missions, Pentagon missions, and I think DARPA, I think that was also done by Ubisoft Sofia or another studio somewhere. So all of these other, components, I believe, can be done outside of Massive while Massive is getting their feet, in place to be able to work on their other projects. And so to me, that's not necessarily a problem as to, if the content can be developed. The question is, what kind of content would it be? And if it was content that actually took us to level 50 in our agent, power level with some narrative components, adding maybe even the hardcore, taking that out of beta and using that to create a new dimension of the map, would that be something that would be attractive to players as a whole? Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. It's a very interesting discussion so far, and I believe as agents, veterans, and even non-veterans, you guys are basically able to come to that conclusion and to be able to see exactly what it is that you as an agent, will enjoy engaging with. But that's it for me today. Thank you very much for your time and audience. I appreciate you guys so much. Hopefully we'll talk in another video. Peace out.